On yesterday's bleed video, I got an interesting tip from a mate, Shayan Ahmadian. I don't know how you spell his name, but he's a bass player. And he had this tip, and if you're going to learn a song, like Bleed for instance, you could also try and increase the tempo to some insane speed. Because what happens if you increase the tempo of the song, other patterns will appear. Because I've been struggling with this long sequence in the middle of Bleed, which is really, really difficult to memorize. And if you play it in slow motion, like I usually do, it becomes like a 5-minute sequence that you have to memorize, which is really hard with this. And if you do it really slow like that, it's like memorizing the first 100 decimals of pi or something. It's really hard. So, I mean, Shayan's tip was that increase the tempo and you're gonna find other patterns in the song. So it sounds something like this. I turn it up to 250. Yeah, because you hear, then it becomes like another song. And then it's and then the sequence is much, much shorter. So now we're talking about, I don't know, maybe a 1-minute sequence that I have to memorize. So I actually tried this advice tonight. And it sounds something like this. I simplify the riff, of course. I do like... It's just eighths all the way. And let's give it a shot. We'll see if I can do it. Yeah, you get the point. It's not perfect, but anyway, I did this a couple of times, and I started to get the thing in my hands, because it's basically just to get the feeling on where this accentuations, where they come in the riff. Because now I turn it down to, let's say, 200. So I go up. It's like a stepwise iterative procedure where I go high and I go low and I go high and low. So let's see what happens now in 200 BPM, the same riff. And the target is 230. That's the original tempo. Which is like, it's really fast. Yeah, something like that. But now 200 it's a bit slower, and I mean the difficulty, it increases exponentially. It's easy in 200, but then 210. Let's say 200 to 210, it becomes more challenging. 210 to 220 is a lot more challenging than the shift from 200 to 210. And then for the final BPM, it's like when you try to level up your character when you're playing Diablo. I mean, if you go from level 59 to level 60, it probably takes as much experience points as you have to get from all level 1 to 59, and you have to do it all again just to gain 1 level. And it's the same thing when you try to increase the tempo to really high speed with a really complex riff like this. But anyway, let's give it a shot. I'm gonna try to get through this whole pattern now in 200 BPM after this extreme tempo exercise, and we'll see how it goes. That's the first time in my whole life that I managed to get through this whole section. And that is one big chunk that you have to memorize in order to play this amazing song called Bleed. And thanks a lot, mate. Thanks a lot, Cheyenne Madian. That was a really good tip, and it, as you can see, it worked. Thanks a lot, mate. See ya.